Welcome. Welcome here. I am your host of the show, Your Radiant Life After 45, where I share skills for healthy, wealthy, and happy women. And I show you how to design and enjoy your most radiant life after 45 by choice, by intelligent choice. And with over 25 years of professional experience as a naturopathic doctor and relationship coach, together with my vast personal life experience, I give you all of me. And if this sounds good to you, be my guest here and come every week at this time of Saturday. Okay, so I have some visitors here. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope you will enjoy the show today. It's the second part of if you of the question that sometimes we ask ourselves in a relationship when it has gone a little south or stale. The question: can I revive my relationship? Can I stay or should I leave? So, and in the last episode I shared with you about how to handle that big question: should I stay or should I leave? And if you haven't watched that episode yet, please go there and watch it, even though it may not have been posted yet because there was a delay. We had some glitches last week, and I'm still traveling, and hopefully this episode will be without a glitch. Okay, so giving you a little bit of a synopsis of what this is all about, the whole theme: should I stay or should I leave? Wrapping it up in one or two sentences: if there is still love and trust, even if it has been bruised, if there is still love in a relationship, and even if it has become stale and muddled up somewhat, it is worth to know how to revive it. Relationships are more important than ever, I believe, in our time today, where everything has become so stressful and uncertain. I believe that our relationships have become even more precious, and we need to pay attention. We really need to pay attention to our relationships. So please watch the previous episode about relationship dynamics. Okay, we ran a little bit out of time last Saturday, so I had to close it before I could really share everything I wanted to share. And especially I shared with you how change is inevitable and yet can be painful. And of course, it is always more painful for your partner if you create the change than for yourself if you are the one who is changing the status quo, right? Yes or yes, when you change the status quo, there is somebody who knows you in the status quo and probably is not happy about you changing anything or much. So when you change, it inflicts discomfort, sometimes pain, on the person who wants you to stay the way you are, right? And so that person gets challenged. Challenged, yes, but getting hurt is not what has to happen. And it's not in your control anyway. That's right. It is not in your control how somebody reacts to the change that you want and that you actually do. Whether you do, whether because let me just tell you, whenever we create change, especially a change that affects not just our little things but in a bigger way, it is never done frivolously, or carelessly. But when you feel that you have the right and you're compelled to follow your intuition, to follow that power, maybe your heart, or there is something very strong and powerful within you, and that is what you must do, right? Even though it can be challenging, even for you. And you know that we grow through challenges, yes? Of course you know that. You have been doing it so often, right? And it's not stopping. Change is still happening and coming. So let's get a little bit compassionate. Imagine that you are the one on the receiving end, right? So somebody is changing on you. Yeah, it can happen, and it can feel overwhelming and drastic, depending, of course, on the circumstances. Maybe you are even shocked at first, and feel hurt or even betrayed. But still, never, never, never forget, we always have choices. You have a choice. Of course, it is easier to react right away. So you can stay closed and upset and feel sorry for yourself, or you can take the change that is always coming when either you or somebody else changes something, and that change can be a tremendous opportunity. See the opportunity. If you accept change and be open to it, and not in a stressful situation where you insist on having something exactly the way you want it, then you open yourself up to allow for more influx, for more intuition to come in, and for ideas, and your creativity. Your positive attitude invites every positive outcome to something that may be totally new to you, okay? Especially when it comes from a higher plane of understanding. You can bring a different and more mature awareness into it, and not only accept it, but also trust and be open and willing to allow for things to evolve and also show up. You can see it as an experiment and invitation for you to test your level of allowing, of maturity. That's really what it is. The highest maturity I believe you can reach is in your spiritual level, whereas your mental and emotional maturity set you limits, but you go beyond it. You reach to a higher level of wisdom and understanding, because when it comes to your logic and your emotions, there's only so much that applies, but there is unlimited possibilities within your spiritual awareness. And there is this other language, right? And it's the language of the heart and the spirit. And when you go into your heart, you can find a connection to your brain and inform your brain from your heart's truth, which of course has its roots in love and understanding. And from there, you can inform your brain and lessen the stress and conflict. Usually it's the other way around. The brain always storms ahead and informs you about what you should do and what you should not do, and what is good and what is bad. And it brings up all of the past experiences, little triggers that may misfire and put you in a tailspin of emotional turmoil, But if it hurts your heart, then your emotions are affected, and the hurt can easily slip into your brain, who then protests and starts this internal dialogue with the phantom, right? We know these internal dialogues. We all have experienced those, when this dialogue starts with the person in your head who you are complaining to, even accusing of your hurt feelings and how you do not deserve this and that. And you know this inner roller coaster verbiage, yes? I have this going on, and I have to actually stop it. I say stop it, and then I let it go, and I occupy myself and bring something else in. And very often, in a moment of inattention, whoa, it comes right back. So then you just have to let it go again, right? what we are really talking about here is the call to understanding, or at least consider the choice of somebody else who does something that you do not find comfortable or even agree of, because it's changing the status quo, so that you can allow this to be, okay? To understand and surrender to the fact that somebody else takes a decision that changes the dynamics of your relationship. You know, it's really one of the highest forms of embracing and growing mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually, by applying the one and really the only true energy or attitude that is required. And you know what that is, right? Yes, it is love. Love is the only attitude that can never go wrong. Because love bears, first of all, it bears all things. It doesn't accuse, you know, and that is really true for not only accuse, but it bears all things, and it is the center of your true being. It is the center of everything. And if you consciously make it the center, then it becomes even stronger. Okay? One of the signs that your relationship needs attention is when you or your partner are withholding yourselves, because withholding yourself or shutting down is really closing your heart, closing the love connection, right? And you are so much better equipped to revive or handle the relationship and bring certain things to the attention of your partner and be more creative and more playful, you know? You see and feel sometimes that your partner may withhold himself. It can be physically, mentally, or emotionally. And we very quickly see what is wrong with somebody else, right? When somebody withholds himself, they say, well, you know, this person is just cut off and are not open and doesn't really listen, doesn't understand me, is not connecting, is not participating, you know. But here is what I want to ask you. And that question is directed at you. Are you withholding yourself or parts of yourself? Maybe physically. This can be by not allowing your body to be totally and fully open and receptive. And maybe also that when you do not communicate your body's, your physical, mental, and emotional needs, yeah? Are you moving your body? Sometimes to become more aware of your body's physical needs is to actually move it, you know, move it. Our bodies are here for moving. That's what life means, moving. And we are sitting too much, definitely all of us do. So are you doing what brings you joy? That can be in how you desire to move your body, for example. Maybe in dance or in exercise, or even in how you want to receive love and how you give love, physical love, the relationship you have with your partner. Or you may love to do a certain sports, you know, that you are good at, or even if you're not so good at, you really love it, but your partner does not share that same passion of yours. Do you deny yourself the joy of experiencing the benefits and how it feels in your body? Do you? Do you deny yourself this? It's really time for you to understand your needs and how they have changed and then pursue them, right? But another complaint I hear quite often from my clients is about schedules. Yes, different schedules, time schedules, even personal schedules. What, for example, what is your natural biorhythm? For example, if you are a night owl, like I am, and like to sleep in a bit in the morning, yet your partner is an early riser, what do you do? Do you override your own needs and become an early riser even though you are pushing yourself? Just a question. There is a bit of a challenge you have, yes? And often it is the woman actually who adjusts if your schedules, your biorhythms with your partners are different. It could be quite a challenge. And after a certain time of maybe disregarding your own natural biorhythm and your clock or even what you want to do, you may start to feel a little burdened or exhausted when it comes to different sleeping times, for example. Um, and that can lead into being unjustly obligated, right? And with obligation comes resentment. And resentment triggers the eternal dialogues, or rather those internal monologues with yourself, the complaints and the protests. Like, why is he so insensitive? Why can't he see what I need? All of these questions that, because we are so in ourselves, we don't really understand how to communicate. And very often in long-standing relationships, the communication gets less because we believe we already know our partner so well. So we don't really clear everything and say, okay, let's just check in. Let's just go through everything we are doing. Is this really still the way we want it? I read this book about the 5-year marriage, and I found it fascinating how every 5 years, I mean, you shouldn't get a divorce, but you should come together again and see if you want to continue doing the same or if you want to create changes. I believe that's a great idea. For me, in my life, it has been actually every 10 years. There is something that is very different, that my life is really changing and shifting. So we all have our cycles, and there is one that is very typical for you. And in my course, How to Prosper in Love and Relationships, that starts later in March, I dedicate a whole week to those issues of changes, responsibilities, or rather false responsibilities, and how they lead to resentment, anger, and rage, and how this is so avoidable. I also, in my upcoming webinar, which is free, I discuss the 5 steps to turn an argument into an agreement. Very important in relationships as well, right? And we unpack those issues and dismantle their negative impact on you in your physical, your mental, and emotional health. And of course, that means the health in your relationship with yourself and also your partner. So that a true alignment, or at least peace and acceptance, overcomes the differences. The differences that are just facts, the differences in how you see things and how you feel about things and what you like. And these things shift, because here's another point I want to make, especially for women 45 and over. We usually do not see clearly or do not put much attention nor importance on things when we are young, and yet certain things that become so much more important a few decades later down the road, right? And I'm talking about how also your relationship changes over time. In the beginning of your relationship, of all of our relationships, we experience a lot of passion and love. It's really the strongest then, and most everything else seems less important, right? So everything revolves around the passion and the love and our connection. And yet, as time goes on to other things, that become all of a sudden more important, or at least as important. And so there is a shifting and a changing in our relationships as they develop and grow and mature. And then if you grow in your understanding for each other, the passion, that raw, sexual passion, can turn into gentle love in such a soft and compassionate way of that you see the differences without getting triggered. Definitely not triggered negatively and impulsively like before when you were young. And I believe that aging together can become the most powerful bond of love and commitment for each other. And this is also a time of reevaluating your desires and preferences as you get older. And that's why I say, even in your relationship, maybe every couple of months, every maybe 4 months or 3 months or 6 months, latest once a year, you should really come together and share what works and what hasn't worked so well, and how you feel about certain things in a different way. So all of this is really important to keep the relationship not only strong but joyous and grow and just have it develop to a more and more beautiful level. Yes, it's possible. Allowing yourself to be, to do, and to have what feels natural according to what your body naturally requires at any time as your body matures, it becomes really, really, really important. Rather than working on the sexual fulfillment like it used to be, your body reacts a bit differently now, right? You notice that your body has changes because it has gone through hormonal changes, especially. Everything changes with changing hormones, like menopause, right? Unless you are at least in premenopause and you started feeling how it feels, you have no idea, and may find it hysterically strange or comical when older women experience a hot flash and are drenched in perspiration within seconds. You don't know those challenges because they are not there for you yet. May not, maybe, but may not. And if not, that's wonderful. And still, it is so beneficial to think and feel ahead of menopause or any challenge that may arrive due to getting older. Open yourself to explore how this could be with you. You can develop a compassion and understanding for women who are going through those changes right now. Maybe even your mother or an older friend or sister. Any woman who you observe going through changes because of aging can become such an important and beautiful mirror for you to look into that mirror through yourself. Yes? And so it is in your relationship, whether it's a marriage or a committed partnership. You will see changes that come with time. And what is needed more than anything else in a mature relationship is a surrender, first of all, to the biological changes. Not giving up, but a surrender to what is real. And from there, take the creativity and capability to manifest and create what you desire in the second part of your life. Because you are the creator. We are all creators of our own life. But here is something that I highly recommend. I highly recommend that you have a really great functional physician. A physician who understands, who is not just allopathic in one direction, who just prescribes, for whatever complaint you give, he has a prescription. No. A functional physician who understands a woman's hormonal needs. The hormonal need just before, during, and even after menopause, because your hormones have to be balanced for so many reasons. Physically, to keep your physical body strong and healthy, mentally, and we all know emotionally as well, right? And even spiritually, because when our body is in harmony and in alignment, not only with our own inner truth, with our core values, but also physically, if we give it all of the building blocks, everything that is necessary physically, and then mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I mean, this is really, then we are enjoying life to the fullest and up to the last day of our lives. Aging is not a choice. We all have to age. But how we age and how to age well, that is a choice. And I want you to be able to make the best choices by being in the best hands of a medical doctor, as well as a coach and mentor for your relationship issues. A relationship with yourself first, and then your partner, whoever that may be. I know, and you know this as well, that you deserve a fulfilling, happy, and meaningful second half of your precious life. Because as we get older, the glitz, the fashion, the gadgets, the thrills and entertainment, they are still exciting and they're still there, but they do not mean the same anymore. Somehow our time becomes more precious and we become very choosy. We make a rather better choice with our time. Yes, I hope so. Not all the time. Sometimes you just do whatever and maybe don't do anything, and that's wonderful. But what is most important is the state of your physical body, your mental attitude, your emotional states, and your spiritual alignment, as I already said, with who you are and who you are still in the state of becoming. So that means self-growth and discovery of self. Never ever stop. Let me just get a dry mouth here. Hold on 1 second. 1 sec. Good. So as soon as you open your mind, your heart, and your intuition together with your senses of curiosity, and I believe curiosity is one of the youth hormones. I mean, it's not a hormone, of course, but curiosity ignites youth hormones because being curious is our childhood. We were curious. So never, ever stop being curious, okay? Because as soon as you start to discover what is possible for you from a bigger point of view and outside the box that you may find yourself in, when you open yourself to live your life fully and with conscious choice, it will be the most beautiful journey. It will feel like you're dancing through the changing seasons of your life and the changing seasons of your relationship with the partner you love. Yes? So to end this episode and coming back to the overall theme of the previous episode and the one today is the question of whether you should stay or leave your relationship, then loses its drama, right? There's always a little bit of drama, but loses the unnecessary drama, because that only hurts everybody. There is always a way, always, one that is compassionate and mature, and one of ignorance that can leave you in denial and much more suffering, even depression. But it is always our choice. So choose well. There is so much more to say about this. But then we have another episode and another episode and another episode. So we continue. We continue with this and with so many other things that have to do with relationship to yourself, your health, your physical health, your emotional and mental and spiritual health. I am, as I don't know if you know, but I am a naturopathic doctor specializing in healthy aging, women's healthy aging. I'm also a Reiki master teacher and of course a relationship coach. and my upcoming webinar is on March 11th. And if you want an invitation to learn more about, for example, how to turn an argument into an agreement, and so many things more, message me, get in touch with me. Okay? I enjoyed having you here with me. Thank you for spending your precious time with me. And if you find what I have shared with you valuable, mark your calendar for next week, same day, same time. I can't wait to show you so much more of your radiant life after 45. Okay, here is the next step. How to discover to live your precious life to the fullest? Get into my world. All right, get into my world. Message me, and let's start a conversation, because you deserve it all. You deserve it all. We all do, and we must support each other, because only then can we grow to our highest potential. Okay, this was it for today. Bye bye for now. Angelika Christie signing off right now. I see you next week. Yes?